So today we're going to be looking at how you can take something like a Google form, which you see here, that's going to capture observations and conversations, things that I see students do or hear them say when learning remotely. That could be in the chat, could be in a breakout room, could be me in a Google Doc watching what they're doing. And once I capture those, I'm going to take those and I'm going to show you a way that you can actually have them captured and placed on a Google Doc for an individual student so they can go through and see what it was that I observed or heard, and also any notes that I have on that. And to do that, we're going to create a Google folder, a folder in Google, and it has a student file for each student that's going to have the place where these things get copied over to. I'm going to show you how to use something called Doc Appender. It's a Google Form add-on, and once it's added on, you'll see it with your add-ons there, and you're going to open it in a sidebar, and I'll show you how to do that a little bit later on. But let's get started today, and I'll show you how this is going to work. So to begin, what you're going to need is a folder where you have these student Google Docs in, and that folder has to be created as a separate spot where Doc Appender places all the things that you see in here. And a Google Doc has to be created for each student, and it's really important that the student name in the doc is the same as the student name in the Google form. Also, an important tip is your files in your form can't be in the same place. If they are, Doc Appender is not going to work. You notice here I'm sharing this doc with students because if I share it with them as a viewer or a commenter, students can see what I collected, and if they're a commenter, they can make comments on what they saw me witness or heard me say. To create the form, you're going to want to make sure that the top of the form has a drop down where you can select students from, and they're seeing here that name has to match the form. The form itself is going to have all the things you're looking for. I've included just some overalls that are easily observed or heard from students when they're working, and I've chosen like a single point rubric. I don't have all the levels there. They either meet the expectations, they exceed it, or they need some improvement. Once that's done there, I'm going to show you how to add Doc Appender. And you see those three little dots at the top. You can add Doc Appender from there, and it'll pull it right up. And if I start to type it in here, you'll see it'll pop up. There's Doc Appender right there. I already have it installed, so you'll see it listed right there. You'll want to install it and allow all the permissions. But once it's installed and you click Add-ons, Doc Appender is now there. You'll see that for me, it's not activating, so I'm just going to refresh because I tinkered around with the add-ons there. But once I refresh it and I go back to the add-ons button there, you'll see that when I open Doc Appender now, I can open it in a sidebar. And when that sidebar pops up, here's the steps that you're going to go through to link your form to that folder with all the Google Docs. So pick from the drive that folder that you made that has all of those student docs. You'll see a list of current folders up there. You can do a search for it if it's not there. But there I've selected that's where all those files are. And I'm going to open it up and it pulls it there. So that's the one that it's going to put all those form responses to. Now it's important that I select the question that the form is going to use to link to the docs, and when I refresh that list, I'll have a list of all the questions, and I'm going to select the one that has the student names there, and that's going to be my link. When I save and populate this, now I get all the questions in the form, and I can choose which questions get fed to the Google Doc. And for me, I want to select all of these because I intentionally put all this information there. That's what I want. Choose the way it presents to you. I'm just showing you in separate vertical tables, but you can do it in a different way. When you click enable, you'll see it working there. When save changes appear, that means it's linked and it's time to give that form a try. So preview the form there, choose your student. We're going to do Rabbit here. And when we click next, here's the things I can click that I've seen or heard Rabbit do in class. And I'm just doing a little sample here to show you what this would look like. When I click submit, when I'm done here and I have any notes, you can keep submitting responses for other students, but when you go over to Rabbit, boom, there it is. There's what I just captured. And because it's shared with students, they can see their progress. And you'll see here that Rabbit has some comments in there, and I can go in and take a look at that and filter through and see what Rabbit did. But here's Rabbit. Oops, sorry, not yet. Here's Rabbit there. Rabbit's gone in and put a comment there for me based on something that I observed or saw or heard in the breakout room. And Rabbit's letting me know a little bit of additional information. That's good data if you can get students involved in the feedback there and have them reflect on their own learning. So again, at the end of a class, I can submit all these responses based on things I've seen. What I like to do in the chat room, in breakout rooms, and in Google Classroom on Google Meet, is I like to capture everything that's in the chat by selecting all the text and copying it into a Google Doc. Then when I can filter through that by name, so I could use Control F and search for Rabbit. And when I look through Rabbit, I can see all the things that Rabbit actually said in the chat during the day. I hope that's helpful to you, how to use this.